Hello, this is Steffi and welcome back to the Financial Fox. In one of our previous episodes, we discussed tokenization of real-world assets using blockchain technology, and gold is a prime asset for tokenization. Joining the discussion today is Mark Child, CEO of public listed company Condor Gold, and Navin D'Souza, co-founder and CEO of ComTech Gold, which recently announced the issue of gold and silver backed tokens in partnership with Globians in Dubai. And remember that all the content here is for informational purposes only. So we don't give any financial advice. I don't, my guests don't. So any investment that you make is all down to yourself. And you need to do your own research. You need to skill up. You need to learn about what does it mean tokenizing real world assets? What is blockchain? Actually, what is gold as well? So you need to learn. And, obviously watching our episode can give you some interesting insight that you can go back and get more information so you can make more informed decisions. So let's go straight to the point. Why should we tokenize gold? And Navin, I really want you to start with that because you announced a partnership with Globians in Dubai where you are offering gold and silver-backed tokens. So why using blockchain to tokenize gold?
So basically what we wanted to start on with is to give the benefit of the modern technology and blockchain to a normal investor, retail investor, who wants to have an investment in gold. So what we have observed is there's a lot of price difference and inefficiencies when you talk about retail investors who want to invest in gold, because if somebody wants to invest in gold, he needs to go to the gold market and buy a physical gold coin, and there's a premium in the market and the others. So this is where we thought that let's make use of the blockchain technology. We create a fully backed asset token. So what we have done is we have created a 100% backed gold token, where the gold is physically stored in the vault, and we issue tokens against it. We have built a complete governance framework with the DMCC, which is a government of Dubai entity. The gold gets stored with TransGuard, which is an independent vault, which is secured and insured. And against this, we create tokens which are digital form of gold, which allows an investor the fungibility of digitalization, but at the same time, the security of actual having investment in gold.
Just back to comment on your first comments is why digitalize gold? I mean, gold is a $12 trillion currency globally, and it's a reserve currency for many people and central banks. And you can look at the credibility of gold because central banks actually last year bought the most amount of gold that they have in the second most amount since 1950. So on record, when records began. So we've had, in the last 72 years, only one time where banks bought more tons of gold. They bought 1,135 tons last year, but they're storing that physically in their vaults in big quantities. The retail investor isn't such a big buyer at the moment. And part of that is, and I know this is what Navin's trying to do here, is make it more available to people, readily available via tokenization of gold and so forth. So is it going to happen? Absolutely. Am I surprised it hasn't happened before now? Yes, really surprised. I think you've got a massive market to tokenize. I mean, it's huge currency. It's all open for who is going to be the winner to do that. And I suspect there could be several winners. There's definitely a period over the last couple of years where people who would normally invest in gold equities have actually invested in, and the speculation that went into those, a lot of that sort of hot money has moved into the cryptocurrency world, big ones. So I think and there was a very good conference at the Denver Gold Forum last year where the four biggest gold producers in the Western world were sort of sat up on a panel and said, we're missing out. We're missing out on digitalizing gold. So the World Gold Council, if you look on their website, which is the trade body for all the gold producers in the world, in the Western world, let's say, and there are lots of statistics on it, they have study papers on how are we going to make gold more investable. There are lots of examples. You can buy gold online now. I'm in Switzerland. You probably see from these photos. You can go to your UBS bank and buy gold online, and they'll keep it if you're in a Swiss bank. And so in many ways you can buy gold, or a gold currency trade, or any stockbroker. There's plenty of ways to buy gold. The issue is the transactionability, I think, of gold. How can you put it on your credit card and pay with gold, and pay for a coffee with gold, for example, or a meal? And in a sense, that needs to almost be outside of the banking system globally. And so that the winner, not a winner, a winner looking out 5 or 10 years is parallel with, I think Bitcoin will be a winner, but parallel with that will be gold outside of central regulation. It's not a fiat currency. You can't print any more of it, and it has limited supply. So I think that'll all happen. We've got 2.4 million ounces of gold. So in our case, you can either buy an ounce of gold today, it's about $1,850 an ounce, or you can buy a share of Condor gold, and that is the equivalent today, I just did the mass, $15 an ounce to the ground. So it's less than 1% of the gold price. And there's the speculation. And we've announced we're selling our assets, and they normally sell for anything between 3 to 10% of the gold in the ground, because we're pre-production. So, as we looked at construction finance, one of the conversations we had was with actually somebody who would provide gold in a digital format. So if we were to borrow, let's say, $50 or $100 million to construct a mine, that tokenized gold could be issued globally for anyone who takes up those tokens, say Navin's token or Tether Gold or whoever it might be. You have a loan out of that tokenized gold of 50, 100 million, and you repay that out of production. So you give them the physical gold if they want that, or you're producing gold, so you can repay that token plus whatever rate of return of, or possibly a linked note to the upside of gold if they're positive on gold. And I think that's actually the future of mine finance, is going to be loans which are tokenized. The challenge that will happen is that the market's not quite ready for that. And I don't think, no one's done it on a regulatory sense of a London, AIM, Toronto listed company, but I can perfectly see that happening over the next few years.
And I think is picking up on that, I think is also gonna open up not just to institutional investors, but also to retail investors, because everybody
Absolutely
should be able to buy those tokens. So it is, it is a very interesting to see a way to fund gold mine. Navin, do you have got any insight that you want to share on this?
No, it's similar to what Mark mentioned about making it accessible to the wider community as such, to be able to participate in these schemes. And this goes back to the gold standard days, where gold was considered to be a currency. And one of the reasons it did not move much ahead is because of its fungibility and ease of transport across. But for it to be a currency, you actually don't need the gold to move around. You should be only able to move the rights or the ownership across, which is what enables using blockchain technology. So the gold still remains in the vault, but I can buy an access to the gold, and I can have a token on the gold in my wallet, and I can move it across the world. And similar to what Mark said, so this is one area that we're also focusing on, where we are in the process of launching a gold debit card, which allows investors to buy gold and have it in their debit card. And it becomes a global currency, because it would be a card issued by one of MasterCard or Visa. And you can just go to a coffee shop and buy your coffee against gold. So it becomes an alternative currency where people can also have a choice that instead of keeping money in dollars, I would want to keep all my kind of savings in gold. And I use it for my spending, for my daily business or everything of that sort. So the idea is to make it more and more fungible, make it more and more investable for people, and the ease of access.
And it won't, I mean, gold, think of gold like, for the crypto people looking at this, think of gold like a stable coin. I mean, Tether is 100% US dollar backed, right? Yeah. And they proved that. They had massive redemptions and they were able to deal with it all. And that's given, I think that's fantastic for the stable coin industry, because it's proved that people can get out in a panic, and it was fully backed. And that's the way that gold trading will go. That's what you're trying to do, and I think the industry needs to do, is to have it. It's like a staple coin. So you're not going to get these swings up. Let's take Bitcoin and many of the cryptocurrencies, which high to low, they're down 80%. We've seen that cycle over the last 24 months. That I don't think is going to happen to gold, particularly if and the extra demand. So the money that you're seeing it goes into ETFs at the moment is dead money in a way. You can't spend it. The institutional investors put $100 million into an ETF, a retail puts money into ETF, and you have these huge ETFs, and gold just sits there and it's fully gold bagged. Now, I see that changing where people can have that linked to your debit card, Navin, and they can actually spend it as well as it being in a sort of staple coin. So that's the direction.
Yeah, it's an interesting point because there were, conversation, people saying, oh, Bitcoin is the new gold, but actually it isn't, because they are very different assets. And what gold, the value they actually tokenized gold bring is more similar to stablecoin, exactly. Okay, Navin, Mark, thank you so much for coming on the show, and look forward to see what the market are going to do and what is going to be the future of gold tokenization.
A pleasure.
Thank you. My pleasure.